Good morning. This morning I do a reading challenge where I want to read at least 4 or 5 books, depending on how I will manage to do it in the course of the weekend, since it's a long weekend, and also because this evening my grandmother comes and have dinner, so I might not have time to read as much as I wanted to. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to read until 3 p.m. And while I cook dinner, I will also be listening to an audiobook. So, first of all, the audiobook that I'm listening to will be a Parade of Horribles by Matt Dinniman. So that's the 8th book in Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and I'm kind of excited to start that one. Even though I didn't like as much book 7. I got a little confused, and I get confused easily. But yeah, I'm excited for book 8, and I'm excited to see how Matt will make this series go along, because apparently he's only making 10 books. And if you're familiar with Dungeon Crawler Carl, you know that it's it should be a very long series because of the 18th level dungeon. But anyway, so these are all the books that I want to read this weekend. One of them is a book from my childhood that I want to reread, and I did a video about talking a little more about them a while back. But yeah, these are books that I was told I was childish because I read them. Because I have dyslexia and some other thing, and reading had been a very big challenge when I was younger. So my parents had got me those books in like 2001, and I wanted to read them so badly, but my reading was so bad that I couldn't read properly. But when I was in the 5th grade, I finally read them, and then I gave them to my cousin, which I regretted. But I found some at the thrift store, so I will be reading one of them today. So the book in question is Barbie. It's in French. A lot of my books that I will read today, 2 of the books I'm reading today are in French, and 2 are in English. So this one is about Skipper who babysits. I'm assuming Chelsea. I don't even know, honestly, the name of the book, because it's like they made it in English. The book was in English, but it was translated, from English, but it's like different. I can't really. It doesn't say the title in English, I don't think. No, it does not. Okay. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It has also very old Barbie style pictures, which is really cool. And they're very short too, so it's only less than 100 pages, I think. Yeah, there's 55 pages. So I'll be reading that. Rereading this. It's been years. I will also be rereading Kill Marie of the Orchard by Lucy Moon Montgomery. And if you haven't read this, it's actually really good, and it's gonna be my second time rereading it. My first time was in 2020, so yeah. Another book by Lucy Montgomery, it's The Chronicles of Avonlea, which inspired the TV show The Chronicles of Avonlea. So I will be rereading this. Still trying to figure out, I've watched Chronicles of Avonlea growing up, and there is one story that I'm trying to find. I don't know in which chronicle it is, but I'm trying to find it, and it's the one with that one episode with the character Gus. But I know it's based on an episode, one of the stories in this, because it's a novella. It has a bunch of stories, but I don't know which one it is. So I need to find this eventually. I only have this one. Also found this in the thrift store. And the next book that I try to read this weekend is actually a reread. Also been reading it the first time in 2020. And it's time I reread it because I just love the author. I love the world. and everything. So, and I often think of this book for some reason. And it's Tith by Holly Black, and it's in her modern fairy tale series. So, really excited to read this one. And yeah, these are all the books I want to read today. And we'll see how it goes. I'll update as I go and see how I ended up doing on this challenge. Okay, so a little update on this book. I'm on page 30. It's currently almost 7:30, so 7:21. And I'm only at chapter 5. And disasters after disasters. There's always like a solution and like a problem they've got to solve in these books. But specifically this one, I remember that when I read it, when I was finally able to read, I was like, seriously? So, Skipper has to babysit Chelsea and Kelly because Barbie is going to like this 50s party with Ken, of course. And so Skipper is like, okay, fine, yeah, I can do it. And then Chelsea is telling her, well, actually, I have my friend coming over as well. So she's like, the more the merrier, right? But things do not go as planned. And then, like, Kelly, she decides to take peanut butter and jelly and then start to, like, smear it everywhere. And, like, yeah, disaster after disaster. And then she decides to go into Barbie's clothing and cause trouble. Like, there's a picture where you kind of see what happens. She's kind of cute, though. It's kind of... She went into Barbie's clothes. And then this. Anyway, so it's disaster after disaster, and yeah, it's weird. I'll keep reading now. It is 7:37 in the morning. I finished Skipper Babysitter. Yeah, this is how I would feel babysitting someone with all the things going on in this book. And like the washing machine overflows, there's popcorn everywhere, the cat destroys a cushion. So there's like in the living room there's a cushion that's been like destroyed. The kitchen has like, the popcorn, and the washing machine overflows because Skipper put in the washing detergent, but then Stacy also decided to put detergent because she was like, well, Barbie's clothes are extremely dirty, so I will have to wash them because Kelly decided to, play with them and she got them dirty. So, yeah, she had to like clean that. But then Stacy's friend decided that she also needed to put detergent in the washing machine without telling anyone, so it overflowed. And then they're like, okay, well, things are not going well. We're going to order Chinese food. Like, who knows how long the delivery guy was at the door. And all of that because technically Skipper, like, answered phone calls, like, 5 times in the course of, like, 3 hours. So, of course, there were problems. So, yeah. This one is not the best one. Not my favorite one in these books. But it was still good. Enjoyable. I mean, it made time pass. Like yeah, I managed to read it. Because I don't know when I would reread these books otherwise than on our reading vlog. Anyway, I read this. It was okay. the next book I think I'm going to start maybe Kilmary of the Orchard, because I really want to reread this one. So, see you in a bit. Okay, I haven't started it right away, but just a little fun fact about me. Um, I've loved Anne of Green Gables and like Lucy Maud Montgomery for a very long time. And she's a Canadian author. But also, since she's a Canadian author, well, there's this TV show that maybe a lot of you know about. I know that Sweet Potato, you will know about it if you watch this video, because you did mention that you watched it. So, since it's Canadian and that TV show is also Canadian, Murdoch Mysteries. That's what it's called, right? Murdoch Mysteries? I think so. You follow, Detective William Murdoch, who investigates murders in Toronto. But there's also this constable in that show where he basically invents every single thing. So, like, at one point, there was someone had died, and Murdoch made a maquette of the house of the person who died. And then that constable is like, oh, you know what? That would be actually a good game where, you gotta find who did it by using a plan of a room and a house with like the weapon and all of that. So like that constable discovers everything. Like he always invents everything. Like he even invented TV dinner when TV dinner was not even a thing. And he's like, we should call it TV dinner. And then people are like, what are we gonna do with that? He's like, I don't know, look outside the window and eat. Because TVs were not a thing back then. Anyway, so that constable is Constable Crabtree. And Constable Crabtree, in the universe of Murdoch Mysteries, is basically the inspiration for Anne of Green Gables. So every time I think of Lucy Maud Montgomery, well, I cannot stop thinking of Constable Crabtree, because he inspired Anne of Green Gables. Which makes sense. Like the way it is done in the show, obviously it would make sense. I mean, also, the people around Anne of Green Gables are kind of special. Like that Rachel Lynde. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Rachel Lynde inspired one of the aunts of George Crabtree in the show. So, anyway, it's just funny that Lucy Maud Montgomery is in it. And then, like, they added, like, a lot of, like, historical people. Like, the last episode I watched, they mentioned the two guys who created motorcycles. So, like, Harley Davidson. So, like, it was just very funny. And, yeah, there's always little snippets of historical people. Or, like, there was a Prime Minister Laurier, I think. Was that him? Back in those days. Anyway, he's on Money. I don't remember who, but anyway. But yeah, it's just really funny that they were on that. And they put it in reference. Anyway, so I will read now. I will shut up and yeah. A little update. Since this is a classic, it's a little slower than most books, and it's currently 8 a.m. I am at chapter 2, and I realized I didn't really tell anyone what the story is about, which the only thing I said, it was by Lucy Maud Montgomery, and then went on this rant about the character from Murdoch Mysteries. Kilmary of the Orchard is about Eric Marshall that has arrived on Prince Edward Island to take the role of schoolmaster for a short while. Once there, he meets the astonishingly beautiful and wonderfully mysterious Kilmary. However, Kilmary's curious affliction holds her back from her true happiness. Can the young couple overcome the odds set against them? Which, yeah, it's a very interesting book. It's still kind of short. I mean, it's longer than the other one. Also, this Amazon edition. Ooh, I just realized in the back, there's a thing with the names of all the other books by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Because the names in French of her books make no sense. And I have this really old, like, I don't have my old copy of Anne of Green Gables anymore. But it was in English, and I had all the titles, or no, it was in French, but I had all the titles also in French, like this. But I don't read them in French anymore, so I was very confused on the titles of every book. But now I don't have to. Wow. I basically read them all. No, I did not. But I read most of her series, by the way. So, like her Anne of Green Gables series, I did read them all. The Story Girl series, my favorite series ever, because it follows. I forgot her name. Not Stacy. It's not Stacy, but it's something like that. Her last name is Stanley. I forgot her name. Anyway, and the King family. The Story Girl and the Golden Road, my two favorite. I did like Pat Silverbush as well. That series is pretty good. Yeah. I have a few of her standalones that I need to read, but I haven't yet. So yeah, this book is actually 130 pages, so it's not long. That I need to get a move on and get further into this. It's also written in a way that when people talk, they're basically talking. It's wrote. It was written, yeah, written. Wow. Um, it was written in a way that when they talk in a certain way, and it's like pronounced the same way, like how they would talk. It's just a little sometimes hard to read. The old way they were talking back in the day. Um, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but like it's kind of hard to understand. Okay, took a little pause to get lunch. Well, not lunch. A snack because pretty hungry. I am in chapter 3. The main character's father, so Eric Marshall, his father wants him to marry because Eric's mother died when he was young, and he really, like, the father is like, I'm sick of house chores, and, well, it's about time that you marry someone. But so far, Eric hasn't met anyone, and, well, his father's like, when I was your age, or even younger than you, I was in love with a bunch of girls. And then he's like, but the Eric is like, yeah, well, you just fell in love with mom, and I was like the only one you actually loved. And then he's like, yeah, true, but still, you need to find someone. Um, so also one of his friends from college doesn't have a good health, and he um, was sent a letter to Eric telling him, uh, well, I'm a school teacher now and in this place in um, Prince Edward Island, and I can't finish the school year because I'm too sick to do it, and like the doctor told me to not do it and just start back in September. So if you would, if you can, come and replace me for the time being, that would be great. So that is what Eric will do. He will go and teach at that school. And I'll get back to it now. It's funny how nowadays you cannot call a child stupid. I will say it, even though, like sometimes there are children that are extremely stupid. But not in the sense that, like they might just have, like autism or whatever, and like people say they're stupid. But back in the day, just being a child that was a little slower, or like actually someone that had, autism, dyslexia, or any of that sort of thing, um, you were considered stupid. And like, yeah, it's just like the teacher. So Eric meets this woman, and she's around his age, so she's like 21, and she basically tells him, um, she says, "I've got a boy. I'll be sending him to school to you next week. He'd out have gone in this week, but I have to keep him home to help me put the potatoes in. For his father won't work and doesn't work and can't be made to work. Sandy, his full name is Edward Alexander, called after his grandfather's. Hates the idea of going to school worse than pissin'. Always did. But but he go. He shall, for I am determined he's got to have more learnin' hammered into his head yet. I reckon you'll have trouble with him, master, for he's as stupid as an owl and as stubborn as Solomon's mule. But mind this, master, I'll back I'll back you up. You'll just like Sandy good and plenty when he needs it. And send me a scrap of a pen home with him and I'll give him another dose." So like basically she's just saying her child is stupid and that he won't be like the best at school. I mean, that is exactly how the teachers felt about me. Yeah, saying I was stupid because I read Barbie books. Um, and maybe I need to give a little explaining on why I was terrible at reading. So they changed it, but in Quebec, when I was a kid, so like well, first of all, there was an issue. I lived in Ontario for a few years, from 5 months old to 6 years old. And in Ontario, I went to kindergarten and preschool in English, which is where I learned English. But when I moved, like they noticed that I had a similar thing to dyslexia, and they were like, "Well, we are gonna give her what she needs to, get right into reading and all of that, all the issues that I had." But my dad got a contract to go and work in Quebec for a guy he worked for, like already in Ontario, and the guy moved elsewhere, so we got to go and move there for the job. And when we did a transfer for my school to a French school in Quebec, because since my parents didn't go to English school, I couldn't go to English school. If I had done my first grade, I would have been able to, but I didn't because my parents do not speak English from the area where I live. English is mandatory. Like it's not mandatory, but like people in the area where I live, if you speak English, you're an alien. Like you're from outer space. They don't understand English. Like they don't understand that English is the first language worldwide. they basically live under a rock. um, but anyway, so because of that, when they transferred my, document and stuff to Quebec did a mistake. Instead of putting me in first grade as they were supposed to and have someone help me out at every issues that I had, they sent me back to kindergarten. So I did kindergarten twice. And by the time that I started first grade, they had changed the whole reading system and the whole system of teaching kids how to do things. It was basically like you had an image of a object. For example, you had an image of a house, and next to the image of a house, you had the word house. And it was like that with every single word. And instead of teaching the kids syllable by syllable, they would just make you recognize the words. So any word that was similar to house, like mouse, or any other word that was similar to that, the child would read it as house. And because of the dyslexia that I had, well, for me, it was very hard to be able to read. And in the third grade, I still couldn't read. And they were supposed to give me some help from the beginning to help me, be able to read properly and everything. They never did. So I ended up having trouble reading in the third grade. And every night I was crying when doing my homework because I couldn't read properly. So my parents were like, okay, they don't want to help. We will teach you the right way, the way we learned. When the teachers found that out, they were like, oh my God, you're not supposed to do that. Parents are not supposed to teach their kids. It's schools who have to do it. I never learned with the schools. So in the fourth and fifth grade, finally I was starting to read. And some people were like, oh my God, you can read? I mean, you like reading? What? Because you have dyslexia. You shouldn't be able to like reading. Because people apparently do not like it. And then that's when I read the Barbie books. And then people were like, oh, you're stupid. The teachers, because I had some karate classes in school and I didn't want to have the karate class. So I was like, can I do anything else? And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever. Do whatever you want. But I was always sitting near the principal's office when everyone else was doing the karate class because she was just looking over me, making sure that I wasn't causing any trouble. Well, that's when she told me, she told my parents actually, and they told me. She said I was stupid because I was reading Barbie books. The next thing she knew, I was reading huge middle grade books. But it was just really weird and terrible. I don't know why, but that was how it was back in the day. And I think now to change it back to the regular thing because they noticed that, well, kids didn't really learn much. And yeah, and honestly, there were more issues from around school. For example, English. Well, I had already had an English class. I was in English for a few years, but it got to a point where when I had my English class, I was just like, this is boring. I already know all of this. Can we skip it? They never taught you how to read in English. They never taught you how to write in English. It was just like that. It was just weird. Eventually, though, I just picked up a book in English and I was like, I'll try it and see if I can read it. And then I managed to, but yeah. And then because of the fact that I skipped a grade, well, I got held back and put back in kindergarten, I couldn't finish middle grade. So I was just I had to be put into a classroom in high school where it was basically a classroom for kids that didn't want to work. It was basically a daycare for like 15, 16-year-olds. Not 15-year-olds, like 12, 13-year-olds. It was a daycare, basically. And in the entire year, I remember only doing one math homework. And back in the day, I was terrible in math because I'm still am. I need a calculator. It was so bad that I did like a first grade homework on math in the entire year. The rest of the time, it was just like doing activities like painting my number. Some of the boys had like those like cards that you can paint and color and like stick together. Model cars, I guess you call them. And the afternoon, the teacher was like, "Oh, you guys are all tired. You had a long day, so we'll watch a movie every single day for entire year." At this point, I didn't like it. Like it was just terrible. And so my one of our friends was a teacher, and she's like, "You know what? There's actually a school that can help with all of that, and you should make sure that she gets sent there because I mean, some kids are there, but they're not meant to be there. They're just there to like finish high school quickly." So my parents sent me there, and that was a huge difference because I managed to get from the first grade in math in 2 years to the third grade of high school in 2 years in math, and it happened so fast. Like I managed to get finish high school pretty well and sort of got actually better at it. Still terrible at math, but I don't really need math. So, but yeah, now I've talked about this for too long. But anyway, so I'll go back to the reading. But yeah, I mean, I guess that doesn't change much over time. People saying that people are stupid for stupid reasons. Anyway. Okay, another weird thing a parent says in the book. Sorry. Oh. So this woman tells her kids, it's like they're always good because their mother tells them every Sunday that they'll go straight to hell if they don't behave in school. It's effective. I mean, yeah, the kid's terrified. He's terrified of hell. Come on. Don't say this to your child. And also, while this video was on pause or whatever, I kind of brought her and decided to bring her. She smells funny. She doesn't smell bad. She just smells funny. She smells like watermelon a little because she has ate watermelon yesterday. So yeah, I'll go and pause this and then keep reading. So I am now in chapter 5 of Kilmery of the Orchard. It's 9 a.m. and I've decided to partially listen to it as an audiobook on YouTube with public domain because it's like been written in 1910, I think, or something. So I will be listening to it more and yeah, just enjoy with like hanging out with the bunny and stuff. I can't find the year it was written, but anyway, it's older, definitely. Yeah, there's no year. Anyway, so I will keep listening to this and update later. So I am still listening to Kilmery of the Orchard. I did have to pause to go and play with the dog outside, even though it's like cloudy and raining. But anyway, the dog had to play, so I went outside. I am currently in chapter 13, still listening to the audiobook for the book, and yeah, it's really good. her family, like Kilmarie's family, are just really mean. Like, everyone just says she's dumb or stupid because she doesn't talk because something happened. Like, there can be traumatic events and there's reasons why some people don't talk. So don't say the person's dumb. They're not necessarily dumb. And yeah, like people say that she's ugly, or she feels like she's ugly. Like, and the guy, the Eric is trying to like tell her, no, you're not actually ugly. You're pretty. But like she doesn't really believe him, and her family doesn't want her near him, so she just like avoids him. But he's like not taking no for an answer, so he goes to the family and like talk to them about her, that he loves her, but like we're like sure. But yeah, it's still pretty good. There's 18 chapters, so I'm almost done, and chapters are really short too, so yeah. And then probably after that I will go back and like play with the dog again, because for a little bit, and then probably gonna start preparing. No, maybe not. I was gonna say preparing lunch for like this evening or like dinner, because my grandmother's coming to lunch and I might just call her and stuff. So yeah, it's currently 11:45 a.m. So yeah, I will probably finish this by the time it's lunchtime, so that would be good. Then I might do a bit of cleaning as well, listening to the audiobook for A Parrot of Horribles, unless I decide to listen to the audiobook for the Chronicles of Avonlea. So yeah, we'll see what I do. So I am now finally in the last chapter of the book. So it turns out there's 19. I got my Roman numerals wrong. Yeah, there's definitely 19. But 19 is like a very short chapter, so yeah, this book, I basically give it 4 stars. It's really good though, but it's like very short too, so it's like really fast paced. But at the same time it's kind of slower because it's like older, and it's like I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, it's really good, and for the entire time, like this guy Eric, he falls in love with Kilmarie, and he's like, "Will you marry me?" And she's like, "No, because I can't talk." Because she used like a slate to like communicate with like writing stuff, because since she's a baby she can't really talk, because her family thinks it's something to do with a sin that her mom did or something, and she never talked, and then people just say, oh, she's stupid, that's why she doesn't talk. But Eric has a friend who is a doctor, and he's like, well, you can go and check her out and see if she has a problem or something, maybe that's why she doesn't talk. And then he's like, well, she's completely fine, there's nothing wrong. So they're like, she just might never talk, we don't know why. But something happens, and I'm not gonna say what it is because it's kind of a worth reading. It's worth it if you want to read a classic and it's short. But there's something that happens that makes Kilmarie talk, and it's really cute. Like I like the way it happened, basically, but at the same time, it's in a situation that you don't want to be in. Anyway, and if Kilmarie hadn't talked, things might have gone very wrong. Anyway, so it's really good. And yeah, I'm in the last chapter now, and yeah, it's basically just a small conclusion of like what they're gonna do. So I'll get back to this, and then I'll start doing some other things while I listen to a Parade of Horribles. I think that's what it's called, by Matt Dinniman. So yeah, I might update a little bit too while I do that, but I don't know. And it's currently 1 p.m. So, yep. And yeah, see ya later. Okay, so currently it's 8:24 p.m. on the 17th of May, sorry, 2026, and I just drank a slushie and it does that. Anyway, so I have just yesterday finished 2 books. So this one, Kill Marie of the Orchard, and Skipper the Babysitter, this Barbie book. And I have also listened to 2 hours of A Parade of Horribles by Matt Dinniman yesterday as I was cooking and doing stuff. I haven't listened to it today, but I have been listening to the audiobook of Chronicles of Avonlea, Book 1 by Lucy Montgomery. I can't get into it. I don't know why. Just I don't feel like reading this. So I might try to do some cleaning for the rest of the evening, and maybe I will try to listen to the rest of. Well, of course, I'm not gonna finish it, but probably listen to parts of the Parade of Horribles. Even though technically I like to listen to those as I work, but I might listen to that, or I can listen to the audiobook of Tith, because I haven't read this since like 2020 and it's been so long, and I like this book, so yeah, I need to reread it. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. Also, this video is going to be extremely long with all the snippets of every single day and every update that I've done. But yeah, anyway. We'll see what I'll do and just make an update later on. So I officially decided to listen to A Parade of Horribles. I will read this though, but like physical copy, because I really want to reread it, and currently I don't have a book to read because, well, I decided to DNF this one. It's not bad, but I decided to DNF it, and I feel like I've read it recently, even though technically it's been 2022, so I couldn't get into it. So I'll be listening to this as I do some cleaning because, well, for example, the dog destroyed a box and stuff, and I need to clean up the boxes that he, put everywhere and stuff, and I have a few chores to do. So I will keep listening to A Parade of Horribles, which so far I feel is a little confusing. But I kind of like the concept of a death race. And just like from what we got in the beginning of like chapters, the race kind of like gave me the vibes of like that one race in the Spy Kids movie, like the third Spy Kid movie, where basically the only rule of the game is like from that race is to win. It just reminds me of that with like the different vehicle type things and stuff. So yeah, it gave me a vibe of that. So I will listen to it and update later on how far I got. Okay, so it's Monday morning around noon, I think. I don't even know. I don't have my watch on me currently. But I have listened to more of A Ballad of Horribles as I was doing some stuff around the house, and I really enjoy that one. I really like the vibe of it, and like the fact that it's like races and stuff. But also, I'm listening to the audiobook, so I must say, Jeff Hayes does a really good job. Like, he does the voice of like, I don't want to give out too much of the story, because anyway, let's just say that there's some characters that are based on something that we see a lot online. They're based on Australia, but like with the very fake Australian accent, which is just hilarious. And yeah, those characters are kind of creepy at the same time, but also I like that they have the Australian reference. There's a lot of references to things in that one as well. There's one character at one point that their name sounds like something else, and Donut is like, "Oh, isn't that something from one of your like nerd movies, Carl?" But when you like know the name of the creature, it just sounds like something from Star Wars, but it's not quite the same. And she's like not reacting at all, but it's like it's pretty much similar, which is probably a reference to that. But yeah, it's really good. And yeah, it's actually worth listening to. I mean, the last one I wasn't really that much invested into it, but I think I like that one a lot more than the first one, the seventh book. Anyway, I will read a bit of something else of Tith by Holly Black as I listen to music that I cannot put in videos because copyright. But yeah, I'll update probably later if this video, of course, isn't too long. I might just do an ending and stuff because, of course, it's getting pretty long. Okay, so it is currently 6:30 p.m. I have been listening to more than 2 hours again of A Ballad of Horribles. I like it. I like how chaotic that one is. And I really like the fact that some characters are all hanging out together, which is even more crazy when you think about it. Yeah, so she does not like this. Ouch. Okay. So yeah, these characters all together, and there will be some spoilers if you haven't read the book, so just skip this part of the video, please. But I really like the fact that, Zev is doing the announcements because Cascadia is incapacitated at the moment, and I think she's going crazy. Not entirely sure what's going on. Or the fact that Rand, Biggs, Mungo, and Samantha are hanging out together. That is, yeah, the weirdest, relationship you can possibly have, and friendship. Also, why does Carl not kick her away? I mean, Samantha's so weird. You could just kick her. And it's not like he can't kick her very far. He can't kick her very far. So, yeah, I think I would do that, honestly, being him, unless he would get kicked out of the safe room for doing that. Anyway. Because she's just so weird. She grosses me out sometimes. She's just really weird. But I kind of still like her, even though she's nuts. Yeah. So I've been listening to that. I also have been reading Tith. And there's such a big storm earlier that I couldn't really concentrate on the book because my dog was freaking out. So, yeah. The storm has passed, but it's still pretty intense. So, anyway. So, the bunny is with me now. She has spent her day in her box. But now she's just hanging out with me, reading, listening to the audiobook. Well, she's not really listening to it because I have the headphone in, but she's there, looking all cute and terrified on my reading journal because she's on the table. But yeah, my reading journal with all my notes and some little drawings, not much because lately I don't really have any, time to draw what I usually do because I usually do things like this, where it's like little drawings related to the book. So, for example, these pages here are for a slippery slope. The Slippery Slope, or a Slippery Slope, by Lemony Snicket, so book 10, I think, in a series of unfortunate events. So, there's like a snow gnat, hooks, hooks. I randomly draw them in a heart for some reason because it just tries to like put them in different position. And then there's like, of course, the VFD logo, and like little notes where, you know, candelabra and the fork. That's important at one point. The toast with the VFD logo and stuff, like things that are, you know, mentioned in the book that I just draw around it. But I don't really have anything that worked, you know, for the one that I read. So about that one, you know, something of horribles. Parent of horribles. I do have donuts for what happens, and those are supposed to be like claw caps, but they don't really look like claw caps. And then up here it says new achievement with hearts because Carl's underwear. And that's it. Like, oh, and the karaoke list, which is sort of important at one point. Not really important, but for donut it is. So, karaoke list. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really draw on the others either. So, oh well. I think I'm gonna end it here, like the reading challenge, because I didn't read that much. But I think I managed to read for like not 10 hours, but at least 8 maybe. Because I know that on Saturday I've read a lot, and on Sunday I did read for 2 hours, and today it was at least 4. So what does that make? So yeah, I don't know honestly anymore, but I've read a lot more than I thought I would, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, pretty good reading challenge, and managed to do it. So I might do that another time because it's just so fun to do, and maybe I should do it with the bunny with me for this entire time. But this bunny is, after a while she gets bored on doing things and she just wants to cause trouble and give attention. So yeah, she's probably gonna try and like bite me to get attention. So yeah. Also, she really needs a claw trim. I need to do that, but I don't know where her thing is. And she hates it, so yeah. Anyway, I might do that later. Oh, and also, have you guys ever noticed she has a birthmark? Right here. See maybe the little line, very thin line that she has here? Or like on her lip? That's a birthmark. It's adorable, her little birthmark. Anyway, I'll leave it here.